Hello and welcome everybody to the latest edition of Midweek Matters. Charlie is back.
I'm back, Jimmy.
After Gordy was recapping Origin as if that was a week ago.
A lot of feedback saying, "What's Gordy doing there? Charlie's much better." I know.
That's
a lot of people in the comments.
People have been harassing me in the street. They can't quite believe it.
Well, do you know what? I actually met a fan of the show near my house the other day, Chris from Pass It On Clothing.
Oh,
great guy.
I do know Chris very well.
He's a very good guy. Yes, it was nice to meet him.
And he does a lot of good work in the community, actually. Really good fella that does so much for the homeless. Really, really good bloke.
Yeah, he does. If you check him out on Instagram, Pass It On Clothing. It's very good cause. I know that YKTR get behind them a lot with their clothes as well. So very good cause. But I met him. He said, less Gordon Tallis, more Charlie White as well, he said, which is fair enough. But you've been very busy, haven't you?
I have. I've actually been up in Bundaberg doing some promotional stuff for the Bulldogs up there. They play the Dolphins next weekend. It's a Bulldogs home game, so they're putting some roots down in Bundaberg. Great place. Got to go to the Kalki Moon Distillery, see how their gin, vodka, and rum is made. Great people, Kalki Moon.
So is Bundaberg the rum brand? Is that from Bundaberg?
Of course it is.
I had no idea. Honestly, I had no idea that.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm genuine. I just thought like it was maybe the name of, just a name. Like Tooheys isn't from Tooheys.
Is Tooheys a place?
Tooheys isn't a place.
Well, exactly.
That's what I mean. So it's Bundaberg. But why is Bundaberg, of course, from Bundaberg?
Are you joking?
I'm not joking. Do you know what I mean?
No, I know. Well, Bundaberg, the place, you would imagine that Bundaberg rum is made there, and it is. But we didn't go there. We went somewhere else.
Okay, right.
Went to Lady Elliot Island, this tiny little island. We did some reef activities there. Got to snorkel.
Oh, wow.
Took my daughter actually with me as well.
Oh,
little
did you?
Emerson. Yeah, she had a blast. So work trip. It was good fun.
Work and pleasure, you combine the two.
Yeah, exactly.
Well done.
So yeah, it was good. I enjoyed my time up there.
Yeah.
And yeah, back here.
Going
now.
to Gold Coast today as well.
Yes.
Do you reckon you're possibly the biggest retired athlete in the country right now?
What do you mean biggest?
Sorry, I'm busiest.
Like
busiest. No,
busiest.
not biggest. No, busiest.
I don't know. I'm not tracking anybody else. I mean,
well, you're tracking me, so you should be tracking yourself.
Oh, you reckon? Yeah, but I'm not tracking other athletes. So look, for me, it's a privilege to be busy, and also like going up on a work trip to Bundaberg, like
beautiful.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
like I even had to put some sunscreen on as well. But the reef, mate, honestly, anyone that's never been to the Great Barrier Reef, you've got to go. It's incredible. And anyone out there that's listening close to Bundaberg, make sure you get down to that Dogs game. Yeah, it's a great little setup there.
Who are they playing that week?
The Dolphins.
The Dolphins, nice.
Yeah,
wow.
One of the great young coaches against one of the great old coaches.
Yeah.
First time they've ever played as well, these two teams.
Fantastic. Well, Jimmy, for the last 2 weeks, after missing last week, I've just been thinking of rockbusters. NRL rockbusters. If you missed last week, basically what it is, it's a little saying that is representative of an NRL player's name.
So it's a cryptic style clue of an NRL player.
Yeah. I've got two. One's for everyone who's listening, who they can sort of guess online, and I'll tell them if they're right next week.
So should we give the example of the one we did last week?
Yeah, so you say, what did you say? It was Toby Sexton was the name, and the clue was?
The clue was that part of my foot has been stung by a bee.
No, by an animal, you said.
Oh, yeah, sorry, because that would completely give it away.
Yeah.
But that was the lead up to the clue. That part of my foot has been stung by an animal, Toby. But don't worry, I'll still get plenty of action. Sex, ton. so hence Toby Sexton. That's the clue.
That's the clue.
There's the answer. Charlie didn't get it, but let's see what.
I actually did get it. I just needed the clue.
Yeah,
I needed the initials.
You needed some prompting.
Yeah, I needed some prompting. Well, I've got two. You can pick which one you go for, and then the listeners can go for both, but you can pick which one you go for.
Okay.
First one: don't be silly with matches.
Don't be silly with matches.
So have a little think about that one, mate. Yeah, if you want to have that one, and then the other one is. You must score 180 in order to claim the crown. So have a little think about that one as well. So two there. They're both first graders, both playing for their respective clubs this weekend.
Hang on. Can we go again?
Yeah.
Don't be silly.
With matches.
That's it.
That's it.
Don't be silly with matches. And the other one is
You must score 180 in order to claim the crown. I think that one's pretty easy, to be honest.
you must it's something with a dart.
Hey, I'm not going to give you any
King.
clues. I'm not going to give you any clues.
There's definitely a king involved. Someone with king in their name.
Could be. Might not be. No clues from this side of the desk.
All right, okay. Don't be silly with matches.
So you can play along in the comments on YouTube or on our Instagram DMs. And also, if you've got any yourselves that you want to submit.
No, I don't want the fans coming in because it'll ruin my life.
Well,
it'll distract me
all day. You'll just be reading the DMs.
Because I've got. Well, don't look at the Instagram.
Yeah,
I've got my next couple lined up for you, and it just is constantly running through my head.
All right.
So I don't need. I like to get creative.
Yeah, my dad actually helped me with those ones as well because my dad loved the segment so much.
You went to your dad.
I didn't go to my dad, but my dad Graham, he's a listener of the show, and he loved the segment. And he was just sending in some ideas, so he helped prompt me. So shout out to Graham White. You're a great man. But anyway, let's start the show, Jimmy, how we always do, with this.
How do you feel, Jimmy? Let's find out, thanks to Tui's.
So, Jimmy, it was hard to sort of decide where we're going to start the show with today because there's so much juice in the round preview today. There's so many players come back, so we will get to all of that sort of stuff. But I want to know how you're feeling, Jimmy, all thanks to Tui's about the West Tigers. And the amazing news today, which I think is fantastic for them, is they've managed to sign the Fainu brothers, Latu, the main one that I think is an amazing signing for them. He's a young half and he's going to bring so much to the club, but it is finally some positive news for them, Jimmy.
Yeah, they've been needing some positive news, haven't they? It's been another year to forget for the Tigers. They bring in two of the hottest prospects in the game. Much has been made about their the trajectory and their future, but how much is it going to affect the Tigers short term? Like, how long do they need to continue to go on this? Oh, there's hope for the future. There's hope for the future. What the Tigers fans need is something now, something in the present. And look, I just don't know if they can ever get that when they're just not aligned. When their chairman, CEO, head coach, next head coach, head of recruitment are not aligned and communicating with one another on a consistent, open and honest and upfront basis. So unless you're aligned at that level, does it ever work? Not just in football, but in any other business, in any other department, in any other walk of life.
I don't think they need to be best friends though. They can be professional enough to still work with each other.
It's not about being best friends. Because being best again, that what happens if you're best friends, it becomes a dictatorship. You will have fallings out, and that's okay. You'll have disagreements. You'll have differing opinions, but you need to figure out a foundation of how you make decisions, whether that be the buck stops with the head coach, the buck stops with the head of recruitment, but you'd like to think that at an absolute minimum, whoever is making those decisions is on a consultancy basis with those other key stakeholders. They're in conversation. Hey, Benji, where do you think the team needs strength? What do you like this player? Here's what he brings. If not, why not? Oh, that's interesting. Well, I've looked at this and I think this. Okay, let's get on the same page. Oh, okay, well, Hadji Pentelis, what are you thinking? Like, oh, well, I've bought in Fulton through the back door. I'm not going to tell him. Like, you can't. Even the meeting that they were going to have with Holbrook and then not to talk to people. And then imagine finding out through the press.
Yeah.
Imagine being Benji or Tim Sheens and finding out through the press.
Yeah. Well, from what I was reading today, it looks like Holbrook will be joining them as assistant next year. So there must have been a tick of approval somewhere because, I mean, Hadji Pantelis came out on NRL 360 and said that Pascoe doesn't have authority to sign coaches, that it's all in collaboration with Sheens and Marshall. But, I mean, we talk about all them not being on the same page. This signing Latu and Samuela, that's something where Fulton and Marshall have obviously been on the same page.
Yeah, well,
they've identified these talents.
Who wouldn't want them? Who wouldn't want them? It is positive news for the Tigers, but when are we actually going to see them?
Like, yeah, but I think these are the kind of players they need to go after because they signed Johnny Bateman, they signed Api Coruscant, they signed David Clement, they signed Isaiah Papali'i. They were four of the better recruits that any club had made this year.
Yeah,
but
true.
It hasn't worked out.
Yeah,
and
true.
their timeline doesn't suit where the Tigers are going because while John Bateman's still there, they're not going to make finals, you would assume, based on the way they're currently built and the way they're travelling. It's many, many years of pain for the Tigers. So they're getting guys like this is actually who they need to chase. They need to start from that younger age group.
I know what you're saying though, Charlie, but you'd be amazed at the amount of difference that the environment makes. And the culture of an organisation can make, especially in a sport that is salary capped. So you're looking for any sort of competitive advantage. Now, you see it's so hard to change. Like I'm witnessing it at the Bulldogs where they've become accustomed to losing. And I'm seeing the culture start to change. I'm seeing little wins and gains across the park, but with the Tigers the culture seems to be the same, and it's just one of those what people just when you're in a good culture you take it for granted and you don't realise till you walk into a place that isn't aligned and all people aren't on the same hymn sheet and there's different schools of thought and it's like, well, I'm not going to tell them, and there's bickering between the key people. It's not a good environment you're not giving the players the opportunity to reach their potential and play the best possible game of football on the weekend. So look, it is great. It is good news for them, but there's some issues there that I think aren't that difficult to solve.
Yep.
But it's just going to be the releasing of a little bit of ego.
Well, they're not difficult to solve then. So are you saying that maybe they need to get rid of some of the people who are in charge of the club?
Perhaps, or you can just change your ways.
Yeah, but maybe
leave your ego at the door.
But there's sort of been a sign that maybe they haven't been able to do that all across the board. And even, I mean, I thought it was, I guess Lee Hadjman-Tellis is a man who knows the law very well. So he was asked a question by NRL 360, I can't remember who asked it, but they asked, can you guarantee that Pascoe is job safe? And he said, no, I can't guarantee that. But then he said that's because of legal reasons. But I thought that was concerning that they couldn't guarantee that he was going to be there for Justin Pascoe.
Yeah, that he didn't speak positively about him.
Yeah.
But again, it a CEO at one club isn't the same as a CEO at the other clubs. Like they have different roles within the same. They have different roles at different organisations. So, even for example, at the Bulldogs, Aaron Warburton, the CEO, he's very much a commercial-based CEO, and Gus Gould, general manager of football, runs the football department. There are other CEOs that have a lot of authority at other football clubs. I'm thinking people like Blake Solly at South Sydney. Yep. He would be a very influential and have a lot of power at that club. Where there's some clubs where the CEO are just puppets for the board, and I'm not sure of the inner workings of the West Tigers, but what sort of CEO is Justin Pascoe?
It's a hard one to tell.
When you've got and with split boards, it's very difficult.
I think the Tigers do perform commercially quite well.
Yeah.
So he's obviously been really influential in that side of things,
and that's fine.
Yeah.
If that's where you get the split. Like any criticism of the Bulldogs, it would not be based on Aaron. It would never be directed at Warburton.
Yeah.
It would be Gus because it's clear that that's the model that they've gone down.
And that's surely a better model in most regards because you get the football minds looking after the football, the business minds looking after the business.
I think personally, yeah.
Yeah.
But with the Tigers, this isn't just another bit of pile on because they do get the shit kicked out of them. Obviously, these two young superstars that have gone to their club is great news. So congratulations on them getting them.
Yep.
I feel that Benji Marshall would have had a big sway in that. One of the obviously an icon player.
He's going to be so influential for them with recruitment.
With
he really
recruitment,
will be,
he's massive, and that's again why when you go back to it, okay, you've got Fulton who's been around the game, but you've got Marshall there that is a once in a generation player, like an icon player. Probably the main reason why so many people are West Tigers fans and members. It's because of him and that 05 team. Like
I was 10 years old when that team, and it was the biggest thing ever. It's like this Tigers team, and it was all led by Benji Marshall. Every single kid in the playground was trying to step like Benji. And it's even, these are those players that are playing rugby league now.
Yeah.
That all look up to and admire him.
Yeah,
so.
and even, like, that's why they rate so highly on TV.
Yeah.
Tigers are one of the highest rating teams on TV, even though their performances at times can be lackluster and so poor. But that's why people keep coming back, because they're nailed on. Obviously, there's history there with the two organisations that have come together. But then a lot of people... Benji.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You know what they need, Jimmy? They need a WhatsApp group chat, and just any like big picture ideas that come up, just whack them in the chat.
Throw them in there.
Throw them in the chat, because then that way everyone's across it. Like, ooh, Holbrook's available. Might have a meeting with him, still figuring it out. And then Benji Marshall can give it the thumbs up or thumbs down. And then Scott Fulton... Do we chase Aiden Caesar, guys? Question mark. They just maybe a little WhatsApp chat works everything out, or CC each other on the emails.
Yeah,
it's simple stuff.
WhatsApp chats can, if someone starts
accidentally sending the wrong chat. Oh, fuck, Fulton's a fuckwit. Oh shit, wrong chat.
Yeah.
That's
Delete.
Yeah.
Delete.
Anyway, though, that's all thanks to Tooheys. How do you feel?
Feel like a Tooheys?
Or two.
We're going to take a quick break from the podcast to tell you about AG1, the daily foundational nutritional drink with all your needs in the one place. I like to look after my health, and AG1 takes care of that for me. No more tablets, vitamin pills, all the health nutrition I need, all in the one place. Every single morning, it's as easy. Open up the fridge, scoop of AG1 in a glass, cold water, stir it with a fork, drink it. It tastes great, and it helps me know. It gives me the peace of mind that all my nutritional needs are taken care of, all in the one drink. It really is as simple as that. And also, anybody that knows anything about health benefits knows that it comes with adding simple routines to your day. It's not about magic pills. They're not going to work. AG1 helps me be the best version of myself by having this new habit of every single morning having that drink. I know my nutritional bases are covered thanks to AG1. A lot of athletes are now taking AG1, and with 75 high quality ingredients, it's no wonder why. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/buy round. That's drinkag1.com/buy round. Check it out. Hey, Charlie, defense wins premierships. There's so much evidence to back that claim up, and the Panthers are so unbelievably defensively dominant.
It's incredible. I looked at stats today, Jimmy. The best defensive records in the competition based on points per game: Panthers 12.8, Broncos 17.8, and the Warriors, which surprised me, in that third spot at 8.1 points per game. But the Panthers, like, to concede,
that's so far ahead.
It's a mile ahead. It's like 2 tries a game. They're conceding two converted tries a game.
It is, but also like that gap between first and second is huge.
I just think, mate, it's all set up now for the Panthers. Cleary's had 6 weeks off with the hamstring injury. They went 5-6 during that period.
I know.
That's
their origin
insane.
form was amazing.
They've been able to rest everyone, and now they're in this position where they can they can do what they like in these last few rounds of the season. They can be resting players here, give Yo a freshen up, give Liam Martin a freshen up, give their front rowers a freshen up. Like there's so many opportunities
two
they can
Kiwi
have.
front rowers.
Yeah, who have played through that
period. Do they
period.
still have a bye?
They don't have a bye. They've got all their byes out of the way now.
That could be the only.
But Jimmy, what they've done in previous years,
that could be that could be their only stumbling block if they don't get the bye. But then all they've got to do is win the first week of finals.
No, but what they get is what they've been doing the last few years is they normally rest a bunch of players in that last round of the season or second last round of the season, and they might say, "Oh, we've got a top 2 spot secured, so we get home final week 1, home final week 3. If we win week 1, we can probably rest everyone, in that last round of the season."
It actually surprised me to see the Broncos in second and the Warriors in third as well. I mean, I don't know who I would have had there, but I don't know. The
Storm? You thought would be up there?
You'd have said the Storm, because I guess you naturally just think, the Broncos are such an attacking-based team. And the Warriors have just been amazing. We're going to get into this a little bit later in the preview, but I've got Warriors top 4. On the Panthers, though, after they lost Coruscant and Kickout, I was really worried.
And May did his ACL at the start of the year, Taylor May, the winger.
But those two in particular, their early season form wasn't great. They lost to St. Helens. There was the loss to the Broncos in round 1. And it's like, because Appy I thought was so influential for them. I thought they were really going to struggle without him. And then Kickout leads that defensive pressure, that attack through defense. I was like, oh man, they can't do it again, but they just keep doing it somehow, mate. Some way. They just keep doing it. It's actually magnificent what Ivan Cleary's built over there.
Yeah, because it's not just the players they've lost, the assistant coaches as well.
Yeah,
Andrew Webster, who's gone, he's going to win Coach of the Year at the New Zealand Warriors. He will win Coach of the Year.
Should do.
Cameron Serrato, the best young up and coming coach in the game. They lose two of those great minds, those influential minds that would be amazing to have around the club. They're gone. Panthers don't miss a beat. They really don't.
Yeah.
Like, it's incredible what they've managed to achieve, and they have a huge chance to pull off a 3-peat, which we haven't seen since Peter Sterling did it, and the Parramatta Eels did it in the 80s.
They're very short priced now as well.
Yeah,
very short price.
$2.75 on Ladbrokes.
Yeah.
So this is a golden opportunity for this team, and you just doesn't feel like they're going to be going anywhere anytime soon. Yes, they lose Stephen Crichton next year, but they've got other young players that are just coming through. It's this system where this could be the greatest dynasty the NRL's ever seen. Yeah,
you could be onto something there, Charlie. They just keep on producing, don't they? It's magnificent. Watch it. They're the team to beat.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to the round preview then, Jimmy, because it is an incredible round of footy. Unfortunately, it starts with arguably the worst game we're going to see all year.
I don't know if I agree with that statement.
Okay. Well, it's the Dragons v the Tigers.
There's plenty to play for. The Dragons v the Tigers.
Playing for the wooden spoon? Is that what they're playing for?
Well, no, but there's plenty of reasons not to lose. And I think the Dragons will win. But I read something this week that the Tigers had a players-only meeting, and they anytime you hear that, that's a scary thing. I spoke about being highly aligned and having everyone on the same page. But when you're in this shitty situation, you got guys like Bateman going, boys, we need to do this. Like, forget what those guys are squabbling about. This comes down to us in here. So that for me scares me from a Dragons point of view. It really does. But I think the Dragons at home in Wollongong should be enough. Should be enough.
So you got the Dragons winning that one?
Yeah.
I think the Tigers will win that game. I really do. I think they improved a little bit last. Was it? I can't remember who they played last week, but I thought they looked a little bit better than they had in previous weeks. Having Api Coruscant was big for them. Having Api Coruscant back, so I think they're a good chance against the Dragons. And yeah, I think the Dragons since everything's happened with Ben Hunt, since losing Anthony Griffin, they've sort of fallen off the rails a bit. So Friday night though, Jimmy, cracking game.
2 cracking games on Friday night.
Spot on. Starting off with the Warriors-Raiders, which is incredibly kind of like a clash for a top 4 spot. The Warriors, just unbelievable what they've done this year.
Mate, but both these teams could make top 4.
Yeah.
Because their run homes are quite favourable, especially the Warriors. And with I think this is my actual same game multi for this week. I've got the Warriors winning off scratch. I've got under 43.5 points, and I've got Dallin Watine-Zelezniak for an anytime try scorer. That is paying on the Ladbrokes app $4.27.
Nice.
But
yeah,
I really like what the Warriors have done. They were fantastic last week as well against the Sharks. They were in that arm wrestle. Criminal score first. They didn't go away. They stayed at it, and then they just completely blew them off the park. And I think the Raiders are going to be tough to beat. That's why I've gone with Warriors, not on the line. I just like Warriors off on the win-loss market. But these two could both make it. But if the Raiders do manage to win, then lock them in for top 4.
Yeah, I'm not as bullish on the Raiders this year overall. I think they sort of seem to score points in bunches, concede points in bunches. Like even their for and against being negative.
Yeah.
Just I don't know if it's a bit of OCD in me, but it just makes me you know, like think they're a bit frail in certain areas. And obviously they've got some big players come back for them. Good for them to get Josh Papali'i back. That's massive for them. But yeah, the Warriors also have a bye to come. So I think they're a huge chance to get in that top 4, the Warriors.
Yeah, their run home is favourable.
Yeah. Well, the other Friday night game, the Rabbitohs and the Broncos, we've got like just so many superstars returning in that game. So on the Rabbitohs side of things, you've got Latrell Mitchell, Campbell Graham, then all the Origin boys back, Cam Murray, Damien Cook, Kaloma Tungi. They've got so many players coming back into that team. It's amazing. It's actually such an amazing side, the Rabbitohs side. Then on the Broncos, you've got Reece Walsh back from suspension. Payne Haas is back. Pat Carrigan's back after the week off post-Origin.
This is going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to the battle of the number 1s, Walsh versus Mitchell, and the battle of the number 13s, Murray versus Carrigan. This promises to be a great game. Yeah. It really does. And the Rabbitohs, they're going to be more desperate. That they're not. I don't want to. You know, when you're looking at a team, you just don't be too overconfident here, guys. They know how good they are. Like Cody Walker as well, with coming back from the confidence boost in the State of Origin. They know how good they are. They really do. They know how good they can be. They know they can go on a run. They're going to look back, see Latrell Mitchell. He might just take a little. We probably need to be patient with Latrell. He's probably not going to pick up where he left off. He might need some time to just feel his way back in. But I think South will get the win in this game.
They need the win. They actually do need the win. And everyone's just talking about the Rabbitohs. Oh, they're just going to, they're in now. They're going to cruise it. They're going to climb in. And I know you're not too bothered about them not making top 4. I'm very bothered if they don't make top 4 personally, even with the bye. I don't think it's not all about the rest. It's about them having to win 4 games in a row against elite opposition. That's what I'm worried about if the Bunnies miss the top 4.
I know what you're saying, but I think that rest will do them a world of good. And I still think they're primed for top 4 anyway.
Yeah, but they've lacked something to get them over the line in previous years, and they might have won it if the Panthers weren't as dominant as they were the last couple of years. They might have gone back to back in those last 2 years. You never know. But I mean, I think it's a massive game for Rabbitohs, and you're right. They need to be incredibly desperate.
Yeah, that desperation is. Dimitri will be drumming that into him.
The Saturday, then Titans v the Roosters. 2 teams who've had disappointing years, but they're going head to head. Just quickly on the Titans, Graham Annesley came out and mentioned that for Tanner Boyd's field goal attempt against the Parramatta Eels players were offside. The week before that, they obviously lost the game because Aaron Clark was offside of the field goal. If you're a Titans fan, I think you have probably a right to be a little bit disappointed.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. But then what are we going to do now? Start looking at every single field goal.
Well, that's what Gordon Tallis said we should do. We should look at every single field goal, review it in the background for offside.
Well, we review every try, don't we? So
yeah.
It's not a bad shout, actually.
I'm sure that we'll have a world where that exists in the not too distant future. But for the Roosters,
No, it's coming.
yeah, the robot referees.
It's coming.
I watched something. Have you ever seen? What's it? It's not Black. What's the
Black Mirror.
Yeah, maybe is that where it's different TV shows every single time? Oh, sorry, different. Yeah, episodes.
Yeah,
every,
it's not.
it's not like
you
linear
don't
or
have-
anything.
yeah.
I was watching
Linear,
that,
great
and
word.
it
Great
was
way to describe what Black Mirror is.
Yeah.
It's not linear.
It's not linear.
Yeah.
No, it's quite good though. I really
Great
recently started
show.
watching it, but that's all about technology and stuff. It's kind of a bit scary the way the world's going.
It sure is.
You know,
Are we in a simulation, Charlie?
well, we're more likely than not.
Almost.
Almost
Definitely
definitely. If you look at the fact that the way technology is advancing, it's likely that there is a world where the simulation would be so good that we think we're not simulation.
Yeah, well, that is exactly what it do. And also, if you ever listen to Alan Watts, have you ever listened
I
to
haven't
the
heard of
philosopher
Alan Watts, no.
I'll send a link to the group so you and Tony can get
Yeah.
across
But
it.
what about listeners? They might want to hear about the theory.
But Alan Watts, so basically he talks about like if you were a higher being and you could like control your dream to make it feel like a reality, you would basically what you'd start with doing is you'd have that level of control where you'd want this like really like ultimate life.
Yeah.
And then when you came back to that being, you like, so say if you did it every night, say if we were the ultimate being and you had the opportunity to have a dream experience, a 70-year, 80, 90-year dream life tonight when you go to sleep and it feels real, I'd assume you would go like a very extreme life, like replicate the life of like a famous person. But then when you came back to this being, it would be, you would do it a number of times, then eventually you would get bored. And you would try different ones, and then you would get to a point where you would go, you know what, I'm going to let the machine decide for me. And ultimately, you would have the life you're living now.
That is interesting. Wow. Because I was going to say, this is my ultimate. This is a bit disappointing.
Well,
Could be
that's it.
better. Could be better.
Because you would choose something completely random, and you would let go of the control.
Yeah.
The ultimate being that is Charlie White would be bored of all the fun stuff and would just to get entertainment.
Yeah, right.
Would have the dream of a random life with no control, which is you.
Well, the Titans v the Roosters. It kind of is a game that suits us talking about that. Doesn't really matter for anything anymore. The Titans v the Roosters.
That's a great segue.
We may as well, you know, you can simulate in FIFA. We may as well simulate the Titans v Roosters and let them go on with their lives next week.
That's a great way. Imagine it, maybe someone somewhere. How do you even know the NRL is real? Maybe someone is just going,
bang.
I'm just going to simulate this game.
Well, they easily
And
could.
then there's a default on the game. Someone's holding R2 and L2 down at the
just
same
bang,
time.
bang, bang. Or it's like Football Manager. They're not even like watching it. They just like got the commentary at the bottom coming through.
Did you ever used to play that?
Oh, I love Football Manager. Yeah.
Was it called Championship Manager over here? And it changed to Football Manager.
It might have been. We had it on PSP at one point. I had it on PSP. It was amazing. And I also played it on the PC as well.
The one on the PC, the old Championship Manager used to flash up like, oh, goal for Everton. And you'd be like, yes. And then it was like the goal's disallowed. And you're like,
But I used to,
like you're
you're like a manager on the sideline.
like mate, doing like little fake interviews. So proud of the boys today.
But there was one where it was like Champions League final. Like I think I had Manchester United. And I'd like taken them to Champions League final. And I was so excited.
Mate, you managed it.
But mate, we scored a goal, and I remember running down the hallway of my house, did a sliding knees, like yes. Like it meant so much.
Yeah.
I was a little kid and it meant everything to me. And I remember I found like these superstars and just like, but it was also quite accurate. Like some of the guys you found as a youngsters that have ended up becoming the superstars in the future.
Bakayoko from like Championship or Champ Manager like 96, 97 was this absolute weapon. You got him cheap. All his stats were amazing, and he always was a gun. Bakayoko, and then Everton signed him, and I was like, Bakayoko
In real life?
In real life. He's dog shit. And then even that, mate, you could create yourself, put all your stats up. So like, you do the dream manager. You start in like in the conference, you'd obviously put yourself, the player that you create yourself, James Graham, put him in like at Cambridge United or whatever. It's like, oh, James Graham's put in a transfer request. It's like, I haven't. I haven't. No, I'm not.
You wouldn't.
I want to stay.
As soon
I'm
as
on the
things get
journey
tough.
with Cambridge.
Have you seen the manager who manages the French football team? Who he started on Football Manager?
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
That is weird.
But that's maybe the future of management as well. Maybe it's just going to be these guys who just like freaks on Football Manager and FIFA and all that sort of stuff. Like, because I'm sure a lot of the analytics stuff would carry over.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we've
sidetracked again.
We've digressed.
Yeah,
and
Newcastle against the Melbourne Storms, the next game on Saturday, 5:30 game. Probably the Storm, Jimmy. You liking the Storm in that one?
Newcastle against the Storm.
Yeah, I didn't have it on the rundown.
Yeah, you missed that out on the rundown. That's all right.
Yeah.
Storm all the way. Yeah, they should win comfortably.
Yeah, good to see Kalen Ponga back and firing though.
Yeah, it is. Interesting to see Ponga going back to fullback because you know what I was thinking about. They've got Will Price coming next year anyway, so like he's definitely a 5'8".
Ah, perfect.
With Hastings at 7.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Well, they've actually had Lockie Miller playing 5'8" in New South Wales Cup as well.
Yeah.
So maybe they're trying to see if he can have a crack there.
Yeah.
I still think Lockie Miller's a really good first grade, and I'd love. I think he's got a role to play in the NRL.
Definitely, but Storm all the way, and probably quite convincingly as well.
Match of the season, not just match of the round. Match of the season. This is a huge game. Cowboys against Parramatta. I know that you think this game decides who makes top 8.
I do. Yes, I think the winner plays finals, the loser doesn't. I'm worried about Parra.
Yeah,
especially with Campbell Gillard being suspended.
Sevo as well is now out for a period of time.
I'm worried. And good mate Josh Hodgson, he's not going to play for the rest of this season as well. Thoughts are with him at the moment. It's a difficult one for Parra.
Yeah,
really, really difficult to see. I thought they were coming good. They had a horrible start to the season with their draw. They came good. I think Mitchell Moses is in outstanding form. Gutherson's playing really well, but I'm concerned, and I think the Cowboys get the win at home.
Because if they do make top 8, the Parramatta Eels, I think it's a sign that they're a real contender though, because they run home. It's got the Cowboys this week, the Storm the week after, the Dragons, the Broncos away, round 24, the Roosters at home, round 25, Panthers in Penrith, round 26, and then they got the bye, final week of the year. Like, if they can win enough games out of that run home, it's a shame. The NRL's done them no favours with the draw at the start, draw at the finish. You'd have to feel.
And also, when you go back to those first 4 rounds, I think 3 of those games, so like rounds 2, 3, 4, and maybe even 5, they were playing those top teams all off buys.
They were, yeah.
So,
and Ryan Madison probably did them no favours as well. I reckon if he had his time back, they could have needed him at the start of the year also.
Probably not.
So you got the Cowboys?
Yes.
All right. Then we move to Sunday, Jimmy, where we've got the Panthers against the Doggies, and surely you're not tipping the Doggies.
Well, the Panthers looked on Ladbrokes app at $1. I think that's a bit much.
Well, they should be shorter.
You're funny. Look, I'm gonna sit on the fence on this one.
Oh, you're pathetic.
I'm not gonna make.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say what you're trying to make me say.
You think the Panthers will win?
I'm not gonna say that.
You think the Doggies will win?
I'm not gonna say that.
I think this is another game we could simulate, to be honest. And how annoying was it when you simulated and then you had an injury to your player and you're almost like, I shouldn't have simulated that. And did you ever? I'll be honest, I did this. I would then quit the game because I can't have on FIFA as well. It's like, oh, David Beckham's done his ACL. It's like, well, hang on a minute. Gonna have to turn it off. Don't save.
On Championship Manager, you could have the little secret shit house of like save the game before a big game.
Yeah, of course. I mean, a lot of people did that.
And then the old, if you're losing, just sorry, mum and dad, I'm just going to potentially mess up the PC and flick it off at the mains.
So you've got the Panthers winning that one, do you?
That's your comment. Hey, Sharks Manly.
You completely sort of almost ruined the credibility of this show by you picking the Doggies against the Panthers, or by you not picking the
I know
Panthers.
we're not supposed to have any game as well, are we?
Yeah, I know.
Independent as always.
Yeah. All right, Sunday, Sharks Manly. The Manly can really heat the pressure on the Sharks here if they win this one.
Yeah.
Moylan's dropped. Talakai's benched.
Fitzgibbon's a massive statement that, like, to move some. He's not gonna die wondering with this team. He's obviously very disappointed with the efforts of last week. I actually didn't think the Sharks did a whole lot wrong, especially in the open exchanges. I thought they were going toe for toe. They just couldn't hang in the battle for long enough. But Fitzgibbon's shaking things up. I think that shake up personally will be enough, and they'll get a victory against Manly. The people keep talking about their record against top 8, and they're playing a team who aren't in the top 8, so
they should win.
They should win.
The thing about the Sharks that I reckon Fitzgibbon would have been a little bit worried about is how good Luke Metcalf's looking for the Warriors, and the fact that Moylan's obviously aging. I'm sure maybe it might not have been his control. Metcalf might have wanted to leave the Sharks, but you'd really love to have Luke Metcalf in that team and probably have Moylan moving on if you had your time over.
But Moylan was really good last year, and he started the season with lots of try involvements, try assist. You even look at Sean Johnson moving on.
Yeah.
And like his resurgence in form. But again, we got Nico Hines. I don't know, but maybe Johnson at 7, Hines at 6. Like, that looks appetizing, doesn't it? But I mean, if you had a crystal ball and how sometimes players need a change. But I think this bit of a but moving some players around, I think it's going to help. I think it's going to spark the Sharks.
Matt Lodge is in for Manly as well, and I mean, a lot of the talk about is that Matt Lodge is managed by Isaac Moses, who also manages a lot of their recruits they've had this year, such as Aaron Woods, Luke Brooks, who's coming next year, Bullimore. There's a couple other players who are managed by Moses, and obviously the big thing about that is Anthony Seibold's also managed by Isaac Moses, as the assistant coach. Shane Flanagan's managed by Isaac Moses. Do you reckon that is a concern when you've got so many key parts of a club being managed by the one manager?
Yeah, it is. But strong clubs don't. They're not influenced by them.
Yeah,
and they say, all right, well, if you're going to treat us, if you're going to threaten us with this, well, good luck to you. But some clubs play that game. Some clubs don't. It's usually the stronger clubs that don't play that game.
There's an interesting theory which you could say, is it maybe coaches shouldn't be managed by the same agents that manage players? Like, do you have player managers and do you have coach managers?
Yeah, there's something to be said for that, but I mean, where's it on the list of... It's not an NRL issue, is it? Really, when you think about it, you can't imagine Volandis and Abdo sitting there going like, "Do we need to step in here?" It's like, no, no. It's not really up. It's not up to them, is it? I mean,
and we're in a simulation, so it doesn't really matter anyway. It'll work itself out. The simulation will work itself out.
Yeah, we'll wake up tomorrow and we'll be with the other being, and we'll come back as someone else the next day.
I'm going to choose Michael Jordan.
You've already. The reality of it is you've already been him.
Yeah, I couldn't deal with the hangovers. He partied too hard for me. But in my same game multi for Ladbrokes, I'm going to have Manly to win.
Oh, you got Manly?
Manly to win. I think the Sharks are in all sorts, and I think they almost end their season with that win. And then I'm also going Ola Kawatu to score a try, and Mulatali didn't score last week, so I think he scores this week. Paying $16 that Jimmy.
In the battle of the $16, that's great value. The battle of the beaches, you're going the North Shore.
The North Shore,
yeah. Well, that is typical of you.
Well, I used to live in Manly.
Yeah, I know.
And also it's not the North Shore. North Shore is different. It's northern beaches.
Oh, northern beaches.
There's two elements to it.
Is that what? Water and sand?
Well, I think the North Shore is not even like a beach. It's more of just like a northern part, just north of the city.
What is a shore?
It's a good question.
See, full of great questions. You're going to start spouting. It's not the North Shore. Well, explain to me what a shore is.
But maybe it's like shore, SURE, North Shore.
Are you sure?
Also, You failed at the rockbusters. You haven't been able to figure that
No,
out, have you?
I've been stewing
Okay.
it over. I've been trying to concentrate on delivering the show.
Yeah.
You must score 180 to claim the crown. It's obviously king something, dart. There's something with dart involved. Dart.
Was there any NRL place called Dart? I don't think so.
Oliver Gildart.
Oh, yeah. That'd have been.
That's where my
Yeah.
King. Stop looking at me like that. That's a really weird face to pull when I'm saying king at me. By the way, like that is a bizarre face. Tony, can you screenshot that face and say what is like? Here's a great caption. What is being said to Charlie right now? And that face. And I bet you the answer isn't king.
So king, you thinking?
I'm thinking there's something with a king. Dart. You must Shaw King. Can I get the initials?
You're on the right track with king.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I get the initials?
MK. This is a simple one. You're letting yourself down here.
Matt King. No. MK.
He's also
Jeremy Marshall King.
No. But think about what's 180 in darts. What is it? What
High
is it?
score.
So think about high, top, max. Max
King.
Yeah. So that's a big fail from you, that one.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to be good at this as well. That's sort of I think you
know
got
what?
rattled by the bright lights of the studio.
Oh God, that's bloody good, Charlie.
Yeah, and then what about
Max King? Well, don't. What's the last one again? But I reckon we leave this to our
leave
listeners.
it to the listeners. Yeah, don't be silly with matches.
Don't be silly with matches. All right. Well, hopefully they can get that one right.
Well, hopefully they're better than you.
Yeah, Max King. That's brilliant. I've already got my one for next week. I cannot wait. In fact, so much so that I hope the simulation keeps me going for a little bit longer, just so I can get this in. If I go back to the higher being, if I go back to the original me, whatever that may be,
that would be heartbreaking.
it'd be heartbreaking.
Forget the missus, forget the kids.
Like it'd be heartbreaking to end it there, just on the cusp of whatever sort of reality this is, without getting my next rockbusters in. I'm dying to say it now, but as you can see, I'm not going to. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you next week on Midweek Matters.